So I see Bill is on the line.
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bob, Ike,
Yes, here.
okay, Eric,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes, good evening.
evening, Leroy.
Yes.
Okay, and then Gary Pope and David Cheatwood are joining us in addition to the chief at headquarters and Donald. The only one I see missing is Mary. We're going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully she's still going to be able to join us. So the first thing we always do is the pledge allegiance to the flag. So let's try that again. I pledge allegiance
To
to the
the
flag
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll just keep on practicing that.
It won't be better.
I think someday when we're in the same room with each other, we'll do better.
Yeah.
Who knows when that'll be. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move.
Making a move.
Second.
Okay, then Steve second. Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the meeting minutes? Okay. We don't have anyone on that I can tell from the public, so I would imagine there's no public comments. I can't see any phones or, okay, so Chief's report.
Deb, go ahead and you got to take a vote on the minutes. Sorry, just to make sure things
all
are.
right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. So meeting minutes, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, so moved.
Perfect,
Okay,
thanks.
Chief? You're welcome, thank you.
Don't you want to move on to new business and move up Gary and David Cheatwood?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. So the new business is the bond resolution for 2021. And on Thursday, in a finance committee meeting, I had gone over some of these details of this $16,300,000 bond, or this I'm sorry, let me start over again. This $16,300,000 request. And that was broken down into two things. We had gotten approval from Charleston County for $13,200,000 that we could get either a bond anticipation note or go bonds. And then we also found out from David and Gary that we could refinance our 2011 bonds for $3,025,000. So we went ahead with their assistance and sent requests out to various banks to ask for their bids on a ban for $2,025,000 and also for refinancing our 2011 bond for $3,025,000. And we did get our responses from 6 different banks. Did everyone get the summary that I sent out that we received from David?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I had sent email out earlier, probably around no later than 3 o'clock. So, just to kind of summarize, when we compared all of the packages, I didn't realize it, but BB&T is now called Truist because they merged with multiple banks merged. But when we compared both the bond anticipation note and the refinancing of the 2011 bond, Truist gave us the best rate. On the refunding the bond, I'll talk about that first. By refunding it at an interest rate of 0.79%, we'd be saving almost $51,000. It's $50,696. And on the bond anticipation note, they also came in at the lowest rate of 0.81%. The other advantage to Truist was we could pay that off at any time. There wouldn't be a penalty if we decided to pay the ban off and move to go bonds earlier. And they're just asking for the next audited financial statements, which would be our June 2021. We've already provided the June 2020 audited financial statements to the banks, but this would be in the fall when we have our 2021 audit reports that we provide that to them. So what I wanted to do is open up the floor for any questions that you have for Gary Pope or David Cheatwood on any of the things that I had presented on Thursday that you still have questions about, or these bids that we received today. So I'm going to open it up. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. All righty. The only change from when we talked about this on Thursday was I had mentioned that the closing on the ban and the refinance bond would be the end of February, but due to some, oh, Gary, what do I want to call this? Due to some notification requirements, we aren't going to be able to make that date. So the closing would be on March 18th. Now, the other good news about Truist is they're giving us actually until, I think it's March 25th in their package. So we're still in good shape that even though we would be closing on March 18th, we're still within what that Truist is offering us. And again, keep in mind that includes the BB&T bank that we're more familiar with locally. And so we'd be okay as far as our capital improvement fund is concerned, because we still would have funds in there that we could redirect after we got this financing. So are there any questions about?
I think Bob had a question. I'm not sure if we could hear him. We could see he was talking.
Okay, Bob. We still can't hear you. Are you muted maybe?
Yeah, I can't, he doesn't look like he's muted. I'm not sure what the issue is.
I know, yeah, I can't see. Do you maybe have to turn on your audio? Yeah, it would be in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, now you're muted. I know I have challenges sometimes with my volume, Bob. Is the volume on your computer maybe turned down? I know I heard you before when we were taking roll call, so I don't know what happened. Do you want to text me your question?
Maybe he can text you his question.
Yeah, Bob, do you want to text me your question and I'll ask it for you? Gary or David, are there any comments you want to make while Bob is trying to get his audio working?
This is David. The only comment I'd make is I was really pleased with the results. Incredibly low interest rates. It's timed it very, very well. The beginning of the new year, banks are hungry, and so the rates were incredibly attractive for both the ban and the refunding bond. And able to lock in some good savings there. So I was pleased with it.
Yeah, I would concur. I think these are excellent rates, a great result. And this, the only other thing I'd point out about the resolution is it does provide for, the $13.2 million of the new money plus the refunding of the 22 through 24 maturities of the 2011 bond. And it allows to do the new money either through a ban or through the future takeout of the GO. So this would be the time in which it is in front of the commission, and there would not need to be a further commission action to take out the ban in the future, which is a legal requirement. You can't have a takeout of a ban be subject to a future action. So I just wanted to make that clear to everybody.
Bob, any luck on your audio or sending me a text? Nah, I still can't hear you. My audio on my computer doesn't work well at all. And in the past, you guys will say, you're breaking up, you're breaking up. So I always call in on my phone. So Bob, I don't know if you want to pull up the email and call in on the telephone. That's where I get a much clearer audio. If you want to try that option. So I had asked David and Gary about looking at the strategic plan and looking forward on some of the things that we want to do in the near future. And, you know, the ban for that over $2 million is going to be used to, first of all, make us whole in our financing for Station 4 and possibly a settlement for Station 6. And then we do have $1 million earmarked for another fire engine. And then lastly, whatever remaining funds were left from that ban, we were going to put towards starting improvements on Main Road. I mentioned that, you know, we may want to have, you know, more aggressive capital improvements, that we probably will want to pay off the ban and go for the GO bonds with the closing date in January of 2022. So we would start that work with Gary and David in probably October or possibly November, depending on whether we went public or we were just going to try to get GO bonds from the bank. So just want to let you know that I was looking forward and talking about the next steps, and the fact that this fall, you know, we'll be looking into that next step of paying off the ban. Bob, are you on now?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
My question dealt with the advantages of doing a GO bond versus the bond anticipation note.
Deborah, you want me to tackle that?
Yes, please.
And so, Mr. Wright, you had two options. As you noted, you can do this short-term interim financing, this bond anticipation note, or do the long-term bond issue. We talked about those options with Deborah and the chief a couple months back in anticipation of this. And the thought was, with the very low, especially short-term interest rate environment, which is evidenced by these rates, it's a low interest rate environment in general. A long-term general obligation bond, we would have been looking at something in the 15 to 20 year range for that. And so it is at a higher interest rate. If you would have gone ahead and locked that in today versus the 79 basis points, you probably would have been somewhere in the, you know, close to 2% range potentially on a 20-year financing like that. And so get some of the interest rate savings now. The other benefit by doing the ban, the downside to doing the ban is that you have interest rate risk. So when you go to take out the ban next year with the long-term bond, what if interest rates are higher than, you know, based on different economic departments' projections, you know, rates are projected to start trending up over the course of the year, but not materially. So the benefit of doing the ban also allows you to kind of get further down the road on your capital improvements to figure out how much do we really want to take out next year. We want to go ahead and do, you know, the full amount for the new maintenance building, another fire engine purchase. It just allows a little bit more time to formalize that long-term CIP. And lastly, if we did the long-term GO bond today, we would have had multiple years of interest only, because the fire district's debt service structure, you really have most of your debt rolling off your capacity after fiscal year 2024. So we're trying to get closer to that cliff where you have some debt service rolling off. And so to go out with a bond and have 3 years, a long-term bond, have 3 years of interest only may not have been appealing to some of the banks there. And so a variety of reasons, the ban was attractive. Again, the one downside is the potential interest rate risk, or the interest rate risk that you're taking by waiting to lock in a long one. But we thought the other benefits outweighed that cost.
Okay.
Deb, I just wanted to let you know that Mary Jones is in on the phone. I have the phone by the speaker, so she is able to hear the call and she can contribute if she wants to.
Okay.
Can't hear you now, Deb.
We lost your voice, Deb.
Oh, now, all right. David and Gary, thank you for joining us. I appreciate your participation, and we'll set you free.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good evening.
I'm going to drop off
Okay.
right after the vote, if that suits you.
What's that?
I'll drop
that,
off
Gary?
right after the vote.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're not going to vote until we come back from the executive session. All right. You can stay on. What we'll do is we actually drop off of the Zoom meeting, Gary, and we go into a confidential conference call for our executive session. And then when we come back to the general session, we come back into this same Zoom call. So just to let you know, if we stop the Zoom call, you can come right back into it then.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That sounds great. And I
Okay.
just want to make sure I'm available for any questions at all if they come up.
Okay. I guess my question to the commissioners is, since you don't have any questions, should we make a motion now? Do we need to wait till executive? Okay, so Donald's
Let's
saying
go.
I don't have to wait. Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to read this. So Bond Resolution 2021, a resolution to provide for the issuance and sale of not exceeding $16,300,000 aggregate principal amount of general obligation bonds of St. John's Fire District, South Carolina, to prescribe the purposes for which the proceeds shall be expended, to provide for the payment thereof, and to provide for other matters relating thereof. So basically, as I mentioned before, this is made up of two components. One is the $13,200,000 that we got approval from the county, and the other part is the refinancing of the 2011 remaining balance on the 2011 bond. So do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, the ayes have it.
Thank you all very much.
Motion passed. Thank you, Gary.
Well, thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Chief's report.
Oh, good. So I'm going to start this out, and I'm going to move. I have two gentlemen in here who are about to be promoted. So we're going to move over into the commission room.
Chief, you want us to come?
Come on, guys. You'll be able to see it. Okay.
I might be able to see in just a second. Hold on.
You'll be able to see it.
We're surprising them with his son here today. That's why she's trying to be sneaky.
Okay. Okay, actually, I'm really happy to say, Mark Edmonds is being promoted to lieutenant tonight. It's been a long time in coming, and I actually want to say, I'm very, very proud of you. You've come a long way, just in almost 8 years you've been here, so I really appreciate that. And we have a special person who wants to pin the badge on Dad. Is that you? This is his brand new badge that says he's a lieutenant. Put it up there. Yeah. Put your hands up there. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh. We'd like you to get some pictures.
We'll get a picture after. Yeah. Just a second.
Thanks for letting me comment.
Oh, no. All right, we have Esteban Becerril, who is being promoted to the rank of engineer. Our very first step in the rank process. And I want to say, Esteban, since knowing you since you came here, I'm very, very happy that you're on your way up the ladder. So I do appreciate that. I'm not going to do that any better than you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
We'll take another picture.
Okay, gentlemen, ladies, can we get around to some pictures here?
Yeah, real quick, and then we'll just,
And then we're gonna go.
I'll tell him,
To the commission.
yeah, we'll be back, oops. We'll be back in just a minute. Hold on. Okay, yeah, if we want to do a couple.
Thank you.
You want to go right in front of the green wall? Does that work?
Whichever you'd like.
Last, if you want to, congratulations, man.
Thanks, Chief. I appreciate it.
I got it, yeah, well.
You're welcome. Come on, guys.
There's always a little bit, it's a little bit better backdrop there than,
Well,
the
not the
case,
garbage
the case. I don't have the garbage can in there.
Yes, sir. Oh, thank you.
Oh. Oh.
Half of the gang is back. She should be here in a minute.
Hold on a second. All right, one more. There you go.
There you go.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, do you want to take one with?
Sure, I'd like that. I actually do.
Hold on, buddy. That's good. You want to be in it too, eh?
You don't want it?
Good, thank you.
Oh, no.
I gave it a finance meeting. I know you don't have a copy.
Okay.
You're supposed to email that stuff.
No, I think I
Okay. Your slide.
We're not muted.
Don't blame Amanda. I'll go
Gavin.
tell Amanda.
We're not muted.
Mute yourself.
Okay, and we're back. And that was wonderful, just so you know. Long time in coming, very much deserved. They both worked very hard. You know, their growth, both of them actually, personally and professionally. And I've got to witness that over the last 8 years, and so I am very, very happy. More than you know. So last month, we talked about the employees of the year for St. John's for 2020. And we recognized Alyssa, who is here on my right still. I do want to say, if you haven't logged on to our Facebook page, please do, because the rest of our employees of the year, we recognized throughout the month of January. I wanted to say for the officers, Captain Locklear of Station 3 was nominated, and for all of his hard work in training his firefighters. Every time he gets sent new firefighters, he does an excellent job. And in discussing with you, recognizing Steve Manti again for all of his work on Stuff a Truck and so many of the other fundraising events that St. John's has. He spends a lot of his personal time involved in those events, and it goes above and beyond anything that we could ask him to do on duty. Shannon Malloy, firefighter engineer, we recognized for all of his hard work on the fundraising events for the golf tournaments. This year was by far the best year St. John's has had, and we raised money for the Burn Foundation. Firefighter Donati was recognized as the firefighter of the year for his effort in a successful CPR resuscitation off duty in his local gym, along with gym personnel. He was notified that someone went into cardiac arrest, was pulseless with no respirations. They immediately started CPR and AED, and with a team effort, this person was successfully resuscitated and is alive today. And then last but not least, Matt Lomas was recognized for the Leadership Award, and that was because of all of the leadership he has shown, actually all through 2020, but in 2019, in his efforts to convince personnel how important the training prop was. He runs interference for them, even though sometimes he knows he may get his own head cut off, and it might not be in his best interests to put himself out there, and he does. So for those reasons and others, Matt Lomas had received the Leadership Awards, and if you want to see pictures of those, go on the Facebook page. Unfortunately, and with COVID, we were a little bit handicapped in bringing those to you. So I wanted to say that to you, and I wanted to mention their names because they're all well deserved. All right, moving on. I did want to remind you that next Monday is a holiday for the district. It's President's Day. Not some great news is that we have a vehicle that needs some work. We're waiting right now for the cost on engine 5. Right now, it's pretty extensive work, and the cost right now could be anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000. Rob still has that money left in his budget, but it is a larger repair. That's the downside, but on the upside, we really haven't had to do a whole lot of major maintenance or replacement on that particular piece of apparatus, so that's good. Seven passed the jar pat. We're waiting for the written test results and background. We also did our BC exam, finished up last week. We had 2 evaluators from the outside of St. John's evaluate several different scenarios with our candidates. And so those scores are being tallied. Someone have a question? Someone's called Clark?
Somebody's phone.
He said a minute ago on the screen, something.
I got a question, Chief.
Yes, sir.
How old is that engine?
Engine
10.
It's about 10 years. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
We have painted the high water truck that we had received from forestry. And we've also been put on notice that we can acquire a backhoe with a fork soon. So that will be helpful in our planning for emergency response through hurricanes, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We had a meeting last week in regard to the PGA. That was for the EMS assets. St. John's was there. A representative from Charleston County EMS, as well as MUSC Hospital, and having the initial discussions on assets that may be required. I also reached back out to them to recognize that we're going to need additional assets of St. John's Fire District, as well as probably City of Charleston Hazmat. And we'll have to continue those discussions. And then if we incur any costs associated with that, we have to have those discussions. So just wanted to lay the groundwork on that in advance. We're working right now on a grant application to see if it may be applicable to us this year. Actually help from all of my staff on that because it involves many different divisions and departments. And I think that's it for now. Ryan, what do you got for? There you go.
Happy Monday. It's probably the last time I'll be able to say that for a while, so somebody else steals it from me.
Ramona will be proud that you carried on that tradition.
Right. Just for an update, tallying some 2020 numbers as well. We're still able to install 402 smoke alarms in 2020, which despite it being a COVID atmosphere is quite remarkable. A little bit less than what we did in 2019, but still remarkable nonetheless. And that's also a testament to Captain Mantai's creativity and his willingness to get out there and do that for us too. So going back though to the month of January of 2021, we installed 68 alarms. Part of that was several homes that we used for the Stuff a Truck program, and then also an area of Marianne Point Road where we were able to install 25 alarms all in one little section of Marianne Point Road. And then also 3 car seats for January 2021. Any questions?
So moving on, I'm going to have Gavin give you the statistics for January, but I did want to say in advance, I just want to congratulate Gavin, Chief Gilcrease. He has achieved the Chief Fire Officer rank through Center for Accreditation, and it's a huge achievement. Both Chief Gilcrease and Ryan are working on their Executive Fire Officer, but Chief Fire Officer designation is a huge achievement. So I just want to say congratulations to Chief Gilcrease, and I wanted to let you all know. As we
Congratulations.
Okay, I did.
On the spot.
All right, how about the stats?
Stats. Okay, I don't know how to follow that up, but all right, so stats. What we did was we kind of changed up the way that we're doing the statistics on the monthly report. It's more aligned with our NFIRS reporting system. So what we're going to do is we basically, instead of breaking it down so detailed, we're going to be giving it to you in the sections that's outlined by our NFIRS program, and they go through a 100 through 900 series. So as you can see, we kind of list them out on the left. It's fires and our one group: overexposures, ruptures, explosions, or overheats, no fire. Rescue and emergency medical incidents or service incidents or standalone, hazmat conditions, no fire. Service call, good intent calls, false alarms and false calls, severe weather, natural disasters, and special event types. So in the month of January, St. John's answered the call 285 times. The incident volume summary is going to be on the left, and our incidents by island are on the right-hand side of that chart. Incidents by island: Johns Island counted for 183, Kiowa had 35, Seabrook had 35, and Waterloo had 32. On the left-hand side, where it says the incident volume summary, so what we're going to do is break it down for you, the percentage of calls that we run that are related to fire, the ones that were related to medical incidents, and then any of the other incidents and how the percentages are categorized out. Also in the middle, you'll see a graph. That graph will be a dynamic graph that'll run throughout the year, and it'll be a comparative analysis of where we stand now in like a monthly basis as compared to what we were doing in 2020. And that just kind of helps you get that big picture of where we're putting our efforts and our resources and our time. And that's pretty much all I have for that. That's just going to be a layout we got for this year. I hope it's going to be a little simpler for everybody to kind of get it at a snapshot, and it makes more sense without getting too confusing.
It's great, Gavin. Thank you.
Okay. I think that's it for my report. Unless you guys have any questions, we can move on down the agenda.
Okay, I was just going to ask if Lisa was there. So the financial report?
I just heard it.
I didn't hear what she
RoboCop
said.
thing.
You ready to give
Oh.
the financial report?
Terminator.
Sure.
The camera's pointing at you, so you're
I
hired.
know.
Nothing like putting you on the spot, right?
Well, I know that we went over everything in the finance meeting. Did anybody have any questions to start out with? So right now, our overall operating budget, we should be at about 42%, and currently we are sitting at 48. So that's a good standpoint. The operating balance in our bank is 9,154,150.25, and the LGIP account is at 11.6 thousand. So January collections were $5,638.90, and our wire transfer from Charleston County this month, which we received in January, but it's for December. Property taxes was $5,041,616.03. Year-to-date non-standard as of January 31st was $183,000. And right now our Go bond balance is at $3,142,107.03. If you flip down to your dashboard, our year-to-date numbers, especially for the property tax revenue, has increased. Last month, if you remember your December financials, we received $945,000 more than the previous December amount. And this January, we saw not quite that much of an increase, but $687,000, which overall year-to-date is a 1.1 million increase from year-to-date of what we saw last year from the Charleston County revenues. So that's definitely good. Hopefully it can keep rising. As far as our expenditures, they were down year-to-date. And the operating cash is increased, of course, as we've mentioned before, due to we received the 2 million in TAN and then the increased amount from the property taxes. Our bond availability has decreased, but that's of course because we've started the Station 4 project and is currently underway. When is anticipated completion for the Station 4?
May, a week before the PGA.
In May, okay.
Second week in May.
And then the non-standard overtime has increased compared to last year, but and as well as sick and vacation pay. But of course, with a pandemic going on, that's anticipated. As far as COVID goes, year to date, or for December, we were at, January, we were at $4,547. Year to date was at $40,522. And staffing requirements, we are currently down 11 positions. 1 officer, 1 engineer, 8 firefighters, and 1 administrative staff. The administrative staff is the controller position, but we are looking at a start date of February 22nd. So that position will be filled quite soon. And then, as Chief mentioned earlier, we are currently waiting for test results for the firefighters, the experienced firefighters test. And then I'm sure they'll be making selections after that.
Anybody?
Thank you.
Any questions?
Good news.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Donald, attorney update.
I don't have any legal updates. I just wanted to say congratulations on the job for the bond issue and stuff. It's really exciting as the sort of the neutral guy to watch the commission going forward. And it was a great thing. So congratulations. Thanks.
Any old business to discuss? Okay, and we already went over the new business for the bonds of 2021. So committee report, Bill, the building committee report.
Okay, Station 4 is moving along well. We've got windows in, we've got insulation in the interior walls and the exterior that was already in. We got most of the drywall in place in the interior rooms and starting to really look like a dormitory. HVAC is mostly inside. We got the fan coil units in all the rooms and the ventilation ductwork in place. Equipment sitting on the roof. That flat roof portion is done. Electrical and plumbing rough ends are all complete, as well as the fire sprinkler system. Exterior utilities have started. That is the digging of the pipeline, the main pipelines around the building. That's water and sewer and electric, the main utilities going to the building. Siding is complete or near complete. The elevator is on the site. Purpose system is about 95% done. And overall, we're about 70% and on schedule. That's really all I have. Station 6, there's no change. And any updates or anything going on in Station 5, Chief, I don't have any information on that.
So on the, we're supposed to have the hydrant drilled, or the well drilled next week. Next Monday. So fingers crossed.
Yep. Okay, that's all that.
So just to clarify, so we're digging our own well and we're not going to hook the hydrant up to St. John's Water Company. That's what you're telling us?
Yes, I believe I told you that last month, but the reason is we're not going to pay those kind of exorbitant costs. So the hope is that we'll get enough water from the well in order to do what we have to do at the training prop. And if we do, the cost savings are significant.
Yeah, and I knew that was an option. I just didn't realize that you were able to go forward with it. So let's keep, like you said, fingers crossed. Okay. So we already went over the finance report. We did have a finance committee meeting last Thursday on the 4th. We went over the reports that Lisa just went over for us, and then we went over in detail the bond resolution and the components of the bond. So I don't have anything else to report. Steve, on human resource, I don't think at this point we have any meeting scheduled.
There was nothing to discuss. If we want, we could discuss any requirements for a meeting next month, an executive session.
Okay. And Eric, the strategic planning meeting that we were going to have on the 4th, I know we had to reschedule it. And Eric and I said, well, we're in executive session. We'll compare calendars and see when we can reschedule the strategic planning meeting. I'm hoping it can be sometime next week. I know we need to post it. So I know we need a lead time in order to advertise it, but I'm hoping that we can meet. And the main topic will be the main road facility and where are we going to go from here. And so it's important we come up with a game plan. Okay.
Deb,
Yes.
anything to report on the field trip?
Well, we quite a number of us, I'm echoing, quite a number of us went up to Somerville to look at the maintenance building. And what I really liked about the maintenance building is, first of all, it's the interior is flexible. So the floor plan that they came up with is not necessarily the floor plan that we would have to implement. So there's a lot of flexibility in the design of the building. But what they were pointing out to us is, the height requirements for the new equipment and making suggestions of, how many bays we would want, et cetera. Chief, do you want to kind of elaborate? I thought it would meet our needs, but do you want to elaborate on the maintenance building?
I thought the field trip was good. If we went with something similar to that and adjusted it to meet our needs, I think that building was sufficient for what we would need on Main Road and to service our fleet. So I think some of the other options we could take a look at and may, increase it a little bit or take it away based on some of our smaller vehicles or what have you. But listening to Rob and Maurice and Mark about what their needs would be, including, having a shower area for them if they were contaminated in any of the work that they do was a bonus. So I thought the field trip went pretty well. I would throw it out there if anybody else had any kind of comments to make.
Yeah, and we asked the gentleman, I don't know what his title was, if he was the manager of the facility, but we asked him, now that you've been in the building for a couple of years, is there anything that you would have done differently? And the only thing he mentioned was they only had one restroom and he probably should have built two, but they're using their building also for meetings and training. So again, as we mentioned, when we design our maintenance building, we need to come up with, well, what's the use of the building? Is it just for maintenance, or do we have any other uses for the building? I know that, they had a secure area that they were building for parts. And they had, I think it was 3 bays, but then they had a 4th door on the one side. And I just assumed, I didn't ask, but I assumed that was probably for parts deliveries because it was right there by the parts department, and it seemed like it would be easy to, deliver. Or like you said, Chief, they might use that to come in with a smaller vehicle that they can just come in to one side. But they basically had doors on both sides of the building, so the larger pieces of the equipment, they could drive in one side, and when they were finished working on it, they could drive it out the other. The height of the building would meet the needs of not only the size of all the new equipment, but also ladder trucks if there was something that our team was going to work on versus, taking it for them to work on it. So definitely a lot of good ideas. I think they said they spent around $1 million for their building. So, I mean, that, yeah.
950,000. That included that included all the utilities and everything to go with the building. So I was surprised at that figure.
Yeah. And then I talked to Rob. I mean, obviously we could reuse a lot of what we have. For example, like the floor jacks that, they use outside of the building, we'd obviously move them into a new building. So as far as equipment's concerned, there's a lot that we could take from the current maintenance building and move it into a new facility. So we can talk about that more in the strategic planning meeting, what can we do this year? What can we do at the beginning of next year? And like the chief said, if the commission and the maintenance department, along with the chief, want to see some other options, we can do that. But I just wanted to come up with a game plan for Main Road that, we don't lose too much time, moving forward, even baby steps moving forward to try and to get it ready. Any other questions or comments from that tour? Okay. Any public or firefighter comments? Okay. Commissioner comments. Bob. Am I putting you on the spot because you don't have your audio? Okay. Leroy.
Yes, ma'am. I want to thank
all the new officers. That's very good. Watching guys come in and then staying with us long enough to reach these ranks. That's very good. Want to give a great shout out to Ryan. Each and every day for the last couple of weeks, Ryan has been helping me out by sending out these road closure notices that keeping me from going the wrong way or getting tied up in traffic. I really appreciate that. That also lets me know how much we respond to different vehicle collisions on the highway out here. And lastly, I want you to please call your friends. These stressful times, everyone having to stay close to home and not being able to visit and do some of the things that we normally do. Call your friends and families and see how they're doing and make sure that they are okay, and encourage them to wear the mask, do the social distancing, and then stay home. It'll be all right. That's it, ma'am.
Thank you. Steve?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the 2 new officers on their promotions. Congratulate everyone on personnel awards. Thank you for everything that you do. And congratulations to Chief Gilcrease for his accomplishment. Please stay safe. And again, thank you for everything you do.
Bill?
Just want to congratulate all the officers all the firefighters and officers on their promotions, and all the personnel that got awards, and especially Gavin. That's all.
Okay, Eric?
Yes, I wanted to basically congratulate everybody on the promotions and all the awards and things for firefighter of the year and such. But one of the most moving parts of tonight's meeting was to have the young man's son come to pin him. And that's what I've always thought St. John's Fire District was all about, was family. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Ike?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate everyone on their accomplishments, and for everyone to be safe in the St. John family. And also that trip we took up there to Somerville was a real good trip, I would think. That gave us a real good idea of what we looking ahead to the maintenance building, and having input from the maintenance workers and everybody involved. I believe we have come with a really good maintenance building, and taking good steps, baby steps, whatever steps we need to take. But just so long as we move in a positive way, I believe everything will be all right. And again, thank you to the St. John family for taking care of our district. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank?
Just a couple of quick things. Congratulations, Chief Gilcrease. Congratulations on the fire officer completion. Thank you for your continued dedication to the district. Also, congratulations to the newly promoted engineer and lieutenant, and the increased responsibility that's going to come with both of those positions, and the need to keep their fellow firefighters safe with the increased responsibility. And then just one last thing to piggyback off Commissioner Blake's public service announcement. As leaders of the commission and the fire district, I think we all have a responsibility to encourage the community to continue to heed the CDC warnings. And also, I really think we need to encourage people to get vaccinated. I know there's a lot of fear out in the community, but 9.5 million people have already received their second dose in the United States. And we've heard of very few negative consequences of receiving 2 vaccines. So 9.5 million have already taken the second dose, very few problems. And yet in the United States, we're still over 462,000 deaths within the last year from one single virus. So I think we all need to continue to encourage people to get vaccinated, so we can finally get this virus under control before we lose many more good people that we've already lost in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, I can see your questions. I think you're there.
Can you hear me?
I can't see you. I can just see like your ceiling and your curtains.
I know it's crazy, but anyway, to Chief and the administrative staff, I thank you for all that you do, all the promoters and all the ranks that was received. I thank you for what you've done for the community. And I say to each and every one of you, let's keep promoting those to get involved and take their vaccine. I've already had my first dosage. I'm going for the second. And we all need to stay safe. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I want to congratulate everyone that, you know, worked so hard to get their promotions, and Chief Gilchrist, congratulations to you. You're the only one that can actually hear our congratulations if you're still in the room, because you're not on camera. There you are. Congratulations. I agree with Leroy. I think it's really important that we reach out to people. I know I'm starting to hear people that are, they live alone and they're struggling now that it's been almost a year that they've hardly been able to go anywhere. So some of my single friends, I'm starting to check on them, cook them dinner, do whatever I can to kind of lift their spirits. So anything that we can do to help the community, you know, it is a big help. I guess that's all I have. So I think at this point, I'd like to make a motion to move to executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, we're going to be discussing personnel items, the bylaws, and some other miscellaneous items. So we're going to hang up. I added the conference call information to the chief's